The blue glow of monitoring screens filled the dim control room at Earth's Deep Space Station 7. Tom Miller rubbed his tired eyes, having stared at the same readouts for the past 6 hours. As the night shift operator, he was used to the quiet, endless task of watching for signals from the vast emptiness of space. But tonight was different. At exactly 2:47 a.m. Earth Standard Time, all his sensors lit up like a Christmas tree. Tom nearly spilled his coffee as he leaned forward, double-checking the readings. The energy signatures were unlike anything he'd ever seen before. Massive power fluctuations coming from the edge of the Kuiper Belt. "Control, this is Miller," he spoke into his comm unit, trying to keep his voice steady. "I'm picking up something big. Really big." Within minutes, the control room was buzzing with activity. Director Robert White arrived, still wearing his pajamas under his coat. The old man's eyes widened as he saw the readings. "Get me the Space Force," he ordered, "and wake up our best signal analysts." As the sun rose over the horizon, Earth's most powerful telescopes turned their gaze toward the source of the mysterious signals. What they saw left them speechless. A fleet of over 300 massive ships, each one larger than the biggest aircraft carrier ever built on Earth. "They're not moving," observed Linda Parker, the lead analyst. "Based on these readings, they're just sitting there." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Military vessels were put on high alert, governments held emergency meetings, and social media exploded with theories and speculation. But the alien fleet made no aggressive moves. They simply remained stationary, floating in the darkness of space. Then came the first transmission. It started as a simple pattern: prime numbers, followed by basic mathematical equations. The universal language of mathematics, the same approach humans had planned to use for first contact. "They're trying to talk to us," Linda whispered, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she worked to respond with similar mathematical sequences. The exchange continued, growing more complex with each transmission. Soon, they were sharing basic symbols and concepts. The breakthrough came when the aliens transmitted a series of images showing their ships in a clear problem. Their power systems were failing. Director White stood before the hastily assembled United Earth Council, explaining the situation. "They're refugees," he said, pointing to the decoded transmissions. "Their home star was dying. They evacuated their entire civilization, but something went wrong during their journey. Now they're stranded, running out of power, and they need our help." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued for caution, others for immediate assistance. The aliens had shared more information. There were over 2 million civilians aboard those ships, including many children. Their situation was becoming desperate. "We can't just let them die out there." Tom spoke up, having been called to testify about his initial discovery. "We've been looking for proof of intelligent life for centuries. Now they're right here, asking for our help. This is humanity's moment to prove what we're really made of." His words seemed to strike a chord. By sunset, Earth had made its decision. A response was transmitted to the alien fleet. "We will help. You are not alone." The aliens' reply came quickly, a transmission containing detailed technical information about their ships and power systems. As engineers began studying the data, something became clear. These beings, despite their advanced technology, had never considered some of the solutions humans had developed. Their way of thinking was different, but complementary to human innovation. As night fell again over Deep Space Station 7, Tom stood at his familiar monitoring station. But now he wasn't alone in the darkness. Hundreds of scientists, engineers, and experts were working around the clock, preparing for humanity's greatest rescue mission. Looking at the screen showing the stranded fleet, Tom smiled. Yesterday, humanity had been alone in the universe. Today, they had neighbors who needed their help. And tomorrow they would begin an adventure that would change both species forever. Through his observatory window, he could see the stars shining brightly in the night sky. Somewhere out there, 2 million beings were waiting, hoping that this young species from a small blue planet would find a way to save them. Humanity was about to show the universe what it could do. As dawn broke over the United Earth Command Center, the gravity of the situation became clear. Engineers and scientists from every nation huddled around holographic displays, their faces grim as they studied the data from the alien fleet. Mark Wilson, the lead engineer, pointed to the swirling red indicators on the main screen. "It's worse than we thought," he said, running a hand through his graying hair. "Their main power cores are nearly depleted. They're running on emergency systems, and those won't last more than 2 weeks." The room fell silent. 2 weeks to save 2 million lives. Director White paced the floor, his shoes clicking against the polished surface. The aliens had shared more details about their journey. They'd been forced to use massive amounts of power to escape a dangerous gravitational anomaly near their dying star. The maneuver had saved their fleet but drained their fuel reserves. "Show me the life support readings again," he requested. The display changed, showing hundreds of ships outlined in different colors. Green for stable, yellow for concerning, and red for critical. There was far too much red. "The civilian ships are our biggest worry," explained Dr. Helen Reed, the environmental systems specialist. "They're carrying families, children. Their power needs are higher because of life support requirements. We're seeing temperatures dropping in some sections as they try to conserve energy." Reports from the communication team painted an even more desperate picture. The aliens were rationing food, wearing thermal suits to stay warm, and gathering in central areas of their ships to preserve heat. Parents were giving up their food and in warm clothing to protect their children. The United Earth Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation argued about resources, risks, and responsibilities. Some feared depleting Earth's own energy reserves. Others worried about potential diseases or cultural conflicts. "We can't support 2 million refugees," shouted one representative. "Our own cities are overcrowded. We can't let them die," countered another. "What does that say about humanity?" The debate raged on until a message arrived from the alien fleet. It wasn't from their leaders or scientists. It was a simple video transmission showing the inside of one of their ships. The footage showed alien children huddled together for warmth, wearing what looked like space blankets. Despite their non-human features, their fear and hope were unmistakably familiar. One small alien was clutching what appeared to be a toy, something like a stuffed animal from their home world. The room fell silent. "If we do nothing," Director White said quietly, "we'll have to live with that decision forever." The first time humanity met another intelligent species, we turned our backs on them. The Council's mood shifted. Resources were redirected. Military projects were postponed. Power stations began running at maximum capacity. Earth's greatest minds focused on a single problem: how to save the stranded fleet. But the challenge was enormous. The aliens' crystalline power cores used principles that seemed to defy Earth's understanding of physics. Their technology was advanced in ways that made human engineers scratch their heads in wonder. Yet they had weaknesses too. Their power systems were efficient but inflexible. They'd never considered some of the crude but effective solutions humans had developed over centuries of spaceflight. Mark stood before his team, determination in his eyes. "We need to think differently," he said. "They'd got technology we can barely understand, but they're dying because they never thought to create backup systems. Maybe what they need isn't our most advanced technology. Maybe they need our most basic solutions." As if to underscore the urgency, another message arrived from the fleet. 3 more ships had lost main power, forcing evacuations to already crowded vessels. The clock was ticking. Dr. Reed looked up from her tablet, her face pale. Temperatures dropping faster than predicted. "At this rate, some ships will reach critical cold in 10 days, not 2 weeks. Director White reached for his comm unit. "Get me the fusion research team," he ordered, "and contact our orbital construction crews. We're going to need everything we've got." As night fell over the command center, the lights of 1,000 workstations glowed like stars. Humanity had made its choice. Now they just had to figure out how to make the impossible possible. And they had to do it before those lights in the Kuiper Belt went out forever. The laboratory at the International Space Research Center buzzed with activity at 3 a.m. Dr. Ann Cooper stood before a massive whiteboard covered in equations and diagrams, her eyes fixed on a small crystal container holding a sample of the alien fuel. "Run the test again," she ordered, not taking her eyes off the swirling, purple-tinted crystal. This was their 15th attempt to understand how the alien power cores worked. 14 failures behind them, but giving up wasn't an option. At the other end of the lab, Mark Wilson worked with a team of engineers around a modified fusion reactor. Earth's best minds had been working nonstop for 5 days, trying to bridge the gap between human and alien technology. "The problem isn't just the power source," Mark explained to the visiting Director White. "It's like trying to plug a quantum computer into a steam engine. The technologies are too different." Just then, they heard a shout from one of the younger engineers, Pete. He was standing by a computer simulation, waving excitedly. "Dr. Cooper, you need to see this." The team gathered around his screen. Pete had been running simulations of different energy conversion methods. His latest tests showed something unexpected: a way to use Earth's deuterium reactors to excite the alien crystals. "Look," he pointed to the data stream. "Their crystals respond to specific energy frequencies. If we modify our fusion reactors to pulse at exactly the right rhythm." Dr. Cooper's eyes widened. "It's like making them dance," she whispered. "The crystals aren't just fuel, they're resonators." The next 12 hours were a blur of activity. The team built a prototype, a crude device that looked like a fusion reactor attached to a crystal chamber through a series of complicated tubes and wires. It wasn't pretty, but it didn't need to be. "Ready for first test," Mark announced, his hand hovering over the activation switch. Everyone held their breath. The machine hummed to life. Inside the crystal chamber, the alien fuel sample began to glow. Purple light filled the room as energy readings spiked on every monitor. "It's working," Pete shouted. "The crystal is accepting the energy transfer." But their celebration was cut short. Alarms blared as the crystal's glow intensified. Power levels rising too fast. Someone yelled, "Shut it down." The crystal shattered, sending fragments pinging off the containment chamber's walls. The room fell silent. "Well," Dr. Cooper said, picking up a crystal shard, "now we know it's possible. We just need to control it." The team worked through the night, refining their design. They added resonance dampeners, modified the pulse frequency, and strengthened the containment field. By morning, they had a second prototype ready. This time, when they activated the device, the crystal glowed with a steady purple light. Energy readings stayed stable. The conversion was working. Director White immediately called an emergency meeting with the United Earth Council. Dr. Cooper and Mark presented their solution, explaining how they could modify Earth's fusion reactors to power the alien ships. "We'll need to build hundreds of these converters," Mark explained, "and we'll need to do it fast. But it's possible." The council members looked at the glowing prototype with a mixture of hope and concern. "How quickly can we scale up production?" one asked. "With every manufacturing facility on Earth working together." 2 weeks, Mark replied. "But the aliens only have 10 days of power left." "Then we'll do it in 10 days, Director White declared. "We've moved mountains before. We'll do it again." The next few hours saw the largest mobilization of Earth's industrial capacity in history. Factories were retooled, supply chains redirected, and workers volunteered for round-the-clock shifts. The entire planet focused on a single goal: building enough power converters to save the alien fleet. In orbit, construction crews began preparing Earth's space stations for the massive undertaking. They would need to transport and install hundreds of converters across the alien fleet. Dr. Cooper stood at her lab window, watching the sunrise. On her desk, the successful prototype cast a purple glow across her notes. They had found a way to bridge the gap between two civilizations' technologies. Now they just had to build enough bridges to save 2 million lives. Sometimes, she said to Pete, who was still working at his computer, the best solutions are the simplest ones. We just had to learn how to make their music play with ours. Outside, the first transport ships were already being loaded with manufacturing equipment. Humanity's greatest engineering challenge had begun. The largest fleet in human history emerged from Earth's atmosphere like a swarm of fireflies against the dark sky. 500 ships of various sizes, from massive cargo vessels to agile maintenance craft, all headed toward the stranded alien fleet in the Kuiper Belt. Captain Jack Ryan stood on the bridge of the lead ship, Horizon Hope, watching Earth shrink behind them. His vessel carried 50 of the newly manufactured power converters, along with engineering teams trained to install them. "Status report," he called out to his crew. "All systems nominal," replied his first officer, Lisa Brown. "The convoy is maintaining formation. Estimated arrival at the alien fleet in 6 hours." The journey was tense. Every minute counted now. Reports from the alien ships showed critical systems failing across their fleet. Some vessels had already gone dark, their populations evacuated to other ships that still had power. "Coming up on visual range," announced the sensor operator, putting it on the main screen. The sight took everyone's breath away. Hundreds of alien ships stretched out before them, their massive forms dark against the stars. Only a few running lights remained active, blinking weakly in the void. "They're beautiful," Lisa whispered. Despite their dire situation, the alien vessels showed remarkable engineering, sleek designs that made human ships look primitive in comparison. The first challenge came sooner than expected. As they approached the alien fleet's perimeter, they realized the scale of their task. The alien ships were enormous, making docking difficult for human vessels. "We need to adapt," Jack declared. He called a quick conference with other ship captains. They developed a new plan. Smaller maintenance ships would ferry the converters while larger vessels acted as power stations. The first attempt at power transfer would set the tone for the entire operation. They chose a medium-sized alien ship carrying mainly families. The human engineering team, led by Mark Wilson himself, boarded through an improvised docking tunnel. Inside the alien vessel, the situation was dire. Emergency lights cast a dim glow through corridors where alien families huddled together for warmth. The ship's interior was beautiful but cold, with sweeping architecture that now felt more like an ice cave. "Let's get to work," Mark ordered his team. They were met by alien engineers who had prepared their power core chamber according to transmitted specifications. The installation was tricky. Human tools had to be modified on the spot to work with alien technology. But hours of practice and simulation paid off. The converter slid into place, its crystals glowing purple in their housing. "Beginning power transfer," Mark announced over the comm. Everyone held their breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, lights began to brighten throughout the alien ship. Environmental systems hummed to life. Warmth began returning to the cold corridors. The aliens' reaction was immediate and touching. They pressed their hands against the warming walls, making sounds that needed no translation. Joy and relief were universal languages. Success spread quickly after that. Teams moved from ship to ship, installing converters and restoring power. Human and alien crews worked together, developing an efficient rhythm despite their differences. Communications improved too. As ships regained power, better translation systems came online. The aliens shared stories of their journey, their gratitude evident even through the language barrier. A particularly moving moment came when human crews were invited to an alien equivalent of a dining hall. The aliens shared their emergency rations, strange but edible for humans, as a gesture of thanks. Despite the differences in biology and culture, the shared meal brought both species closer together. "Look at this," Lisa said to Jack, showing him her tablet. Alien children were teaching human crew members their version of a game, using glowing crystals as playing pieces. "We're not just saving them. We're building something new here." By the end of the first day, 50 ships had been restored to full power. The operation was ahead of schedule, but challenges remained. Reports came in of a massive solar storm approaching, one that could threaten both fleets. Captain Jack looked at the data, and then at the still dark ships waiting for help. They couldn't stop now, storm or no storm. He opened a channel to all human vessels. "This is what we came for," he announced. "Let's show our new friends what humanity can do when we work together." The warning came without mercy. "Massive solar flare detected," announced the sensor operator aboard Horizon Hope. "Impact in 3 hours." Captain Jack Ryan's face hardened as he studied the readings. This wasn't just any solar storm. It was powerful enough to fry unprotected electronics and deliver lethal radiation doses to exposed crews. "How many alien ships still without power?" he demanded. 112, Lisa replied, her voice tight, "including 3 large passenger vessels." The next few minutes were chaos as both fleets scrambled to prepare. Human ships had advanced radiation shielding, but many of the alien vessels, especially those without power, were vulnerable. "We can't evacuate them all in time," Mark reported from his position aboard one of the alien ships. "And we can't get power converters installed fast enough." That's when Lieutenant Emma Park, a young engineer, spoke up from her station. "What if we don't need to?" All eyes turned to her. "The human ship's shield generators. We can modify them to project a wider field." It was dangerous and unprecedented. No one had ever attempted to create an energy shield large enough to protect multiple massive ships. The power drain would be enormous. "Do it," Jack ordered, "and get me the alien fleet command." The plan came together in minutes. Human ships would position themselves in a grid pattern around the powerless alien vessels. By synchronizing their shield generators, they might be able to create a protective barrier. "All crews, battle stations," Jack's voice echoed through the fleet. "This is what Earth's Space Force trains for. We protect our own. And today, that includes our alien friends." The human fleet moved with precision, taking up positions around the vulnerable ships. Engineers worked frantically to modify shield generators, pushing them far beyond their designed limits. Inside the alien vessels, a different kind of rescue was underway. Where evacuation was possible, human crews helped alien families move to powered ships or human vessels. The sight of human crew members carrying alien children through corridors would later become one of the most memorable images of the crisis. First radiation wave in 5 minutes. The warning came. The modified shields hummed to life, creating a web of protective energy around the vulnerable ships. Power readings on the human vessels dropped dramatically as their generators strained to maintain the expanded fields. "Hull temperature rising," reported Lisa. "Shield power at 130% of maximum rated capacity." Then the storm hit. The void lit up like day as charged particles slammed into the shields. Warning alarms blared across every human ship as their generators pushed far into the red zone. "Generator 3 failing," someone shouted. "Divert power from life support if you have to," Jack ordered. "We hold." Inside the alien ships, families huddled together, watching through viewports as human vessels physically positioned themselves to take the brunt of the solar storm. The sacrifice and courage needed no translation. Hours passed like days. 2 human ships lost main power, their crews working in emergency suits to keep their shield generators running on backup systems. The temperature on the bridges rose to almost unbearable levels as life support was minimized to maintain shields. Finally, mercifully, the worst passed. As the storm began to fade, cheers erupted across both fleets. Against all odds, not a single ship had been lost. The aftermath brought something unexpected. Alien medical teams, seeing human crews suffering from heat exhaustion and radiation exposure, immediately offered their advanced medical technology. Their treatments could heal radiation damage in ways Earth's doctors had only dreamed of. "Look at this," Emma said, showing Jack her tablet. Alien children had drawn pictures of human ships protecting their vessels, creating art that somehow bridged the gap between their species. They understand what we risked for them. The alien fleet commander sent a message that brought tears to many eyes when translated. Today, you proved that courage knows no species. Our children will learn of this day, not as the day we nearly died, but as the day we truly became family. As teams resumed installing power converters, something had changed. The two species worked together with new understanding and respect. Humanity had proven itself not just technically capable, but willing to risk everything to save others. Sometimes, Jack said, watching the combined fleet glittering against the stars, it takes a storm to show us who we really are. The transformation of Earth's solar system happened faster than anyone expected. 1 month after the Great Rescue, the combined human and alien fleet hung in space near Jupiter's orbit, no longer separate entities but a single community working together. Commander Adam Wright stood in the newly constructed observation deck of Unity Station, a joint project that served as a bridge between the two civilizations. Below him, teams of human and alien engineers worked together, retrofitting the refugee ships with permanent power systems. "Amazing how fast they learn," said Dr. Ann Cooper, joining him at the window. She pointed to where an alien engineer was teaching the human crew about their gravity manipulation technology. In return, the humans were showing them how to build redundant backup systems. "The council meeting starts in 10 minutes, she reminded him. "They're making the big decision today." The United Earth Council and the alien leadership were meeting to discuss the refugees' permanent settlement in the solar system. The aliens had shared their star charts, showing that their journey home would be impossible. Their original star system was now a white dwarf, surrounded by radiation that would make it uninhabitable for millennia. Inside the conference room, holographic displays showed potential settlement sites throughout the solar system. The aliens had expertise in building orbital habitats, while humans had experience surviving in harsh environments. "We propose a joint colony on Jupiter's moon Europa," announced Director White, standing before the combined council. "Our new friends have technology to build under ice, and we have experience with deep-sea habitats. Together, we could build something unprecedented." The alien leader, whose name translated roughly as guide, rose to speak. Through the advanced translators they now shared, his words came through clearly. "Your people saved us when we were strangers. Now we offer what we can in return. Our knowledge of space construction could help Earth build orbital cities. Our medical technology could cure diseases your people still struggle with." The next few hours saw the largest cooperative agreement in human history take shape. The aliens would share their advanced technology for space construction, medicine, and energy generation. In return, humanity would help them build new homes throughout the solar system. Down in the engineering bay, the practical results of this cooperation were already visible. Mark Wilson worked side by side with an alien engineer, combining their power converter design with alien crystal technology to create something entirely new. "Try it now," Mark called out. The hybrid power core hummed to life, glowing with a unique blue-purple light. It was twice as efficient as either original design, using principles from both civilizations. "Progress report coming in from Saturn's rings," Lisa announced over the station's comm. A joint mining operation had begun there, using alien gravity technology and human drilling expertise to gather resources for the new colonies. In the medical bay, human doctors watched in amazement as alien healing technology repaired injuries that would have been permanent on Earth. In return, human doctors shared their experience with biological diversity, helping the aliens adapt their treatments to Earth's complex ecosystem. "Look at this," Adam said to Anne, showing her his tablet. Children from both species had started their own cultural exchange program, teaching each other games, stories, and songs. Some human children were already beginning to learn the aliens' language without translators. The station's alert system chimed softly. On the main viewer, a small ship appeared, the first vessel built jointly by both species. It combined human durability with alien elegance, a physical symbol of what they could achieve together. "Test flight is green," reported the mixed human-alien crew. All systems functioning at 120% of projected capacity. As the day shifted to night on the station's artificial schedule, Adam watched more ships under construction in the shipyard below. Each one represented a fusion of both civilizations' best ideas. "You know what's remarkable?" Anne said, joining him again at the window. "A month ago, we thought we were just saving them. Turns out, we were saving each other, their knowledge and our innovation. We're better together than either of us were alone." Outside the window, Jupiter's massive form provided a majestic backdrop to the fleet of ships. Some were being retrofitted, others newly built. All of them represented a future neither species could have imagined before their fateful meeting. "Bridge to Commander Wright," his comm unit chirped. "The first group of colonists is ready to depart for Europa." Adam smiled. The bridge between stars had been built. Now it was time to walk across it together. 5 years had passed since the day a stranded alien fleet changed humanity's destiny forever. The view from Unity Prime Station, now the largest space structure ever built, showed how much had changed. Commander Emma Park, once a junior engineer who helped save the alien fleet during the solar storm, stood at the main observation deck. Below her, Europa Colony gleamed through the ice like a jewel, home to over 1 million beings from both civilizations. Ships of mixed human and alien design moved gracefully between planets, their hybrid engines leaving trails of purple-blue light across the void. "Annual review starts in 10 minutes, her assistant reminded her. Emma nodded, taking one last look at the spectacular view of Jupiter rising over Europa's horizon. The review chamber was filled with representatives from both species. Old faces were there. Director White, now sporting more gray hair, and Guide, who had become Earth's first alien ambassador. The room itself symbolized their union. Human-style chairs beside alien resting pods, both species comfortable in their shared space. 5 years ago, Emma began her presentation. "We were 2 separate civilizations. Today, we are one community spread across the solar system." She gestured to the holographic display showing their achievements. The statistics were impressive. 3 major colonies established: Europa, Titan, and Mars. Orbital habitats circling every planet from Mercury to Neptune. Disease rates on Earth dropped by 60% thanks to alien medical technology. Space travel accidents reduced to near zero using combined safety systems. But the real changes went deeper than numbers. In the station's education center, children from both species learned together. Human children easily switched between English and the alien language, while alien young ones had adopted human gestures and expressions. They played games that mixed elements from both cultures, creating something entirely new. "Show them the Unity project," suggested Dr. Cooper, who had joined the presentation. Emma nodded and changed the display. A massive structure appeared in the hologram, a joint mission under construction near Saturn. It would be the first faster-than-light ship built by either civilization, combining alien crystal technology with human innovation in ways neither species had imagined possible. "We expect the Unity 1 to be ready for its first test flight next year," Emma announced. "Its mission: to find other civilizations who might need our help, just as we once helped each other." The mood in the room was electric. Both species remembered their own moments of crisis. The aliens fleeing their dying star, humans facing climate disasters centuries ago. Now they were strong enough to help others. In the medical bay, a new breakthrough was being celebrated. Human doctors and alien healers had just perfected a treatment that could extend human lifespan by 50 years, while aliens had gained resistance to diseases that once threatened their species. "Message from Mars Colony," an aide announced during the presentation. "The first hybrid food crops are ready for harvest." This was another milestone. Plants that combined the best traits of both worlds, capable of feeding both species. The engineering deck showcased perhaps the most dramatic changes. The crude power converters that once saved the alien fleet had evolved into elegant devices that powered everything from hand tools to space stations. Every new invention combined both species' knowledge in unique ways. But our greatest achievement, Emma said, approaching the end of her presentation, isn't the technology we've created or the colonies we've built. She switched to an image of the latest graduation ceremony from the Unity Academy. Young humans and aliens stood together, wearing the same uniforms, ready to crew the next generation of ships. Our greatest achievement is that we no longer think of ourselves as humans helping aliens or aliens sharing with humans. We're simply one civilization facing the future together. As if to emphasize her point, an alert sounded, a distant signal, far beyond Pluto's orbit, a ship in distress, from an unknown civilization. Without hesitation, ships from the combined fleet began preparing for rescue operations. No discussion was needed about whether to help. That decision had been made 5 years ago, when humanity reached out to a stranded fleet. Emma looked at the faces around her, human and alien alike, all focused on the new mission ahead. "Ready, rescue fleet," she ordered, feeling a deep sense of completion. The circle was complete. Those who were once saved were now joining their saviors to help others. The legacy of that first rescue had become their shared destiny: to explore, to help, to unite. Together.